Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to getting up to speed on the topics really making noise right now.
Ew.
Today, we're jumping into the world of watches, specifically a new release from Watches and Wonders 2025 that's got everyone talking.
Yeah. We're looking at the new Tudor Black Bay Pro Opaline GMT. Our source is a really detailed review that gets right into the weeds on this one. And our mission today, to figure out what makes this new Tudor tick, how it fits into their whole story, and also tackle this one dimension that some folks find a bit, well, puzzling.
Absolutely. And we're going to help you understand not just what the watch is, but why certain choices were made. Things like the dial, the specs. What do they really tell us about Tudor's strategy?
Yeah.
And how they're playing the game with what fans want. We'll try and connect those dots for you.
Okay, let's get into it then. So this new Black Bay Pro, the one with the silver opaline dial, apparently this was a huge request from Tudor fans, right? And boom, there it was at Watches and Wonders 2025.
Oh, absolutely. Highly anticipated. And the review makes it clear this isn't just like slapping a new coat of paint on it. They call it a methodical evolution.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It sounds like Tudor really thought through the details to do the idea justice, as the review puts it.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is what opaline dial actually means here. I mean, technically it's opaline, but let's be honest, it looks white at a glance.
Okay.
But using that brighter dial, it kind of forced their hand with the hour markers and the hands.
Oh, how so?
Well, the original Black Bay Pro had these applied blocks of lume, sort of off-white, that just wouldn't work against this much lighter dial.
Right, no contrast.
Precisely. So this new one goes for a more, let's say, traditional setup. You've got the lume set inside a black surround.
Oh, okay.
And that gives you that really welcome contrast. It actually lends the watch a very different personality, feels maybe a bit more modern.
Interesting.
But it still absolutely feels like that straightforward, solid tool watch that the Black Bay line is known for.
That makes sense. How one change forces others. Okay, so to really get this new Pro, we probably need a bit of context on Tudor's GMTs, right?
Definitely. It's been a journey.
Let's rewind to 2018. That's when the first Black Bay GMT came out. Black dial, the red and blue Pepsi bezel in aluminum.
Yep, that's the one. Hugely popular.
Hugely popular, yeah. But the review mentions its size, and especially that thickness. It had quite a flat side profile, didn't it? Made it a bit hard to wear for some people. A tough pill to swallow, apparently.
It did wear quite large, yeah. The thickness was definitely a talking point.
Then jump forward to 2022. We get the first Black Bay Pro. Different beast. 39mm steel case, fixed steel bezel. Lots of nods to the classic Rolex Explorer 2.
Right, channeling that vibe.
And that design made the thickness maybe a bit easier to handle. The review says it still wore a bit tanky, but was perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, the proportions worked a bit better for many. But this whole thickness thing with Tudor, it's a recurring theme, isn't it?
It seems so.
Yeah.
Why do they get so much flack for it?
Well, the review points out it's not just the raw number, like the 14.6mm here. It's the shape of the midcase.
Okay.
Tudor's designs often don't really, taper that thickness away or hide it in a deep case back like some brands do. It's just all right there in the case wall.
Ah, so it looks visually thicker because of the design.
Exactly. It sort of exacerbates the issue, makes it feel more prominent on the wrist, like
Okay.
a solid block.
Gotcha. Okay, this is where it gets really juicy, right? The glaring omission, or the puzzling part.
Mm-hmm.
For ages, everyone just kind of assumed the movement, the MT5652 inside these GMTs, was just inherently thick. That was the reason for the chunky cases.
That was the narrative, yeah. The movement dictates the size.
But then Tudor themselves just blew that wide open last year, didn't they?
They really did. They released the Black Bay 58 GMT, and how thick was that? 12.8mm.
Wow, that's way thinner.
The Pelagos FXD GMT, even slimmer at 12.7mm.
Okay.
And here's the kicker, the crucial bit. The Pelagos FXD GMT uses the exact same MT5652 movement.
Wait, really? The same one?
The very same one. Okay, technically it's the U version in the Pelagos, which means it's master chronometer, certified by Meta, super accurate, anti-magnetic, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, Meta certified, got it.
And the Black Bay 58 GMT uses the MT5450U, also Meta certified, also thin. So the point is, Tudor clearly showed they can make thinner GMTs with their movements.
So they've kind of been holding back,
Yeah.
or at least showing their movements are more versatile than we thought.
You could definitely say that. They proved the movement wasn't necessarily the limiting factor we all assumed it was.
So naturally, when this new Opaline Pro was rumored, everyone hoped maybe this is the one. The one where they use that thinner case tech like the BB58 GMT but keep the Pro's look.
That was the big hope, yeah. A slimmer Pro.
Nope, that's not what happened this time.
Unfortunately not.
This new Black Bay Pro Opaline GMT, it shares the exact same 39mm by 14.6mm dimensions as the original from 2022.
Same case, same thickness.
It's still thick. Still, little tanky on the wrist, as the review says. Though they do add it wears just fine if you can level your set of expectations.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unwearable by any means, but if you were expecting that BB-58 slimness, you'll
Yeah.
be disappointed.
Okay, so we know the look, we know the backstory with the thickness mystery. What's actually driving this thing? The movement itself.
Right. Let's look under the hood. It's still Tudor's manufacturer caliber MT5652, the same one we've been talking about.
Okay.
Now, this specific version in the Pro isn't master chronometer certified like the ones in the Pelagos FXD or BB58 GMT.
Wow, okay. No META stamp here.
No META stamp, but the review mentions that, based on experience, it runs pretty much within the same tight specs. Very accurate, very reliable.
Good to know. Power reserve.
You get 70 hours, which is solid. Pretty much par for the course these days for a good manufacturer movement.
And it's a proper GMT, right? The traveler style.
Absolutely. It's a true traveler's GMT. That
Yeah.
means you can jump the main hour hand forwards or backwards independently to set local time when you land.
Without stopping the watch or messing up the minute hand.
Exactly. While the 24-hour GMT hand keeps tracking your home time, it's super practical for actual travel.
And the review says it all works smoothly.
Yeah, exactly as you'd expect, with a confident feedback when winding and setting. So mechanically sound, reliable, practical GMT function.
Okay, good. Now, how about wearing it? Beyond just the thickness, what about the bracelet and strap options?
Sure, so it comes standard on that steel 3-link bracelet. And yes, for those wondering, the little rivets on the sides are still there.
Love or hate them, they're part of the look.
They are indeed. And importantly, the clasp has the T-Fit quick adjustment system.
Oh yeah, that's great. Tudor's been rolling that out everywhere.
It's become pretty much standard on new releases, and it's excellent. Makes getting the perfect fit really easy.
What if you don't want the bracelet?
You've got options. The review mentions you can get the Pro on a leather strap, nice contrast stitching apparently. Or there's a nylon fabric strap.
And you can always swap those out easily, right?
Oh yeah, standard lug widths. So easy to put it on third-party straps if that's your thing.
So, summing it all up then, what's the final verdict from the review?
Well, connecting it all, the review concludes that this new version definitely provides an attractive new look. They really praise the Opaline dial, saying it's executed with great care.
So aesthetically, it's a winner.
Aesthetically, yeah, as handsome as ever. And if you already liked the original Black Bay Pro platform, the review suggests you'll probably find a lot to love here with this new dial.
There's always a but.
But yes, that hope for the thinner case, like the Black Bay 58 GMT, it's still lingering,
It hasn't gone away just because this one is still thick.
Exactly. The feeling is that Tudor isn't a brand that rushes things, so maybe a thinner Pro is still down the road. The review hopes for more options and colors in the Pro series generally.
Okay, makes sense. Manage expectations, maybe?
Pretty much. And despite the thickness, the review is clear. Don't let that scare you away.
Good advice. And availability.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's available now. Pricing starts at $4,050 US on the leather or fabric strap.
And for the bracelet.
Jumps up slightly to $4,375 US on the steel bracelet.
All right, so there we have it. That was our deep dive into the Tudor Black Bay Pro Opaline GMT, a watch that definitely delivers a really nice new look, a careful evolution, as they said. But it also kind of keeps us wondering about those dimensions, doesn't it? That road not taken, maybe.
It really does. And it makes you wonder, what does stand out to you? When you hear all this, what's your takeaway? What does Tudor's choice here, sticking with the 14.6mm thickness on this model, even though we know they have thinner GMT options using essentially the same engine, what does that signal? Is it about strategy, targeting a specific customer who likes that chunkier feel? Or are they just pacing themselves?
Yeah, it leaves you with a really interesting thought, doesn't it? Like, if you were designing a watch, how would you balance it? You've got fans asking for a certain look, an aesthetic change like this white dial. But then there's the technical possibility of making it wear better, making it thinner. What's more important? What matters most on your wrist? Something to think about.
Definitely food for thought.
We really encourage you to keep exploring Tudor's collection, see how it evolves, and figure out what resonates with you personally.